In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about designing Twitter feed page, the Twitter feed page using NextJs and TailwindCSS. Okay, as you can see, the Twitter page. So this is the final output of what I did. You can see the sidebar, the feed section, and the other sidebar. And so I'm trying to keep the tutorial very short. That's why it is quite simple like this. So you are probably wondering why we are using SJS. Okay, so we should have used React, but I'm trying to keep it even more interesting so that we can see how we can put you can use Tailwind with NextJS and see the final output. So okay, so I'm going to share the source code in the description, the link to the source code in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you are going to need is install NextJS. So although I've set up everything, I've installed NextJS, I've installed Tailwind CSS, but let's try to refresh the process again. So if you want me to create another tutorial for setting up NextJS on your machine, please drop in the comments below. Okay, so let's get started. Now the first thing you're going to need is install Node.js or Yarn, any of your choice. So once you've installed the Node.js, you can use this command. What this command is going to do is pull create nest app into your local machine and then run it. All right, so it's going to run the command. After you run this command, it's going to ask for the app name. You enter the app name and continue the process. So once you are done, you are going to have a fresh NextJS application just like this. But the next thing we are going to do is install Tailwind CSS. Just like the tutorial said, you are going to run this code and then mention the app name. You can mention it on that line, or it's going to ask later. And the next thing you are going to do is install Tailwind CSS, post CSS auto prefixer. Install this and then initialize the Tailwind CSS package. So we are going to run these two commands. Now we are told to add this to tailwind.config.js. After you initialize this tailwind.config.js will be automatically generated by that command. Okay, as you can see here. Now we are told to add this section to that file. So we have it here. Okay, now in your global.css, in the style directory, the global.css, you are told to add this. So I just empty the file and add that to it. Now run npm run dev to start it. So npm run dev. So it's going to start at port 3000. Tada. Okay, so the additional code I had was the additional code. Okay, we can see the additional code that there. So this file should be different from what you have. All right, so you're just going to add this to yours. You can see the primary code, the primary colors. We can have the color section, right? So I'm trying to configure the color codes, and you have for the primary color the border, default, and background, and that is that for the config. And now I add another file. This file, the link to this file will drop in the description below. All right, so this file, I have list of SVG icons, different icons. So I want it to be easier for us to just copy and paste them into the code so that it can just work like that, and so that you can follow me as I'm going on with it. You should probably download the file to the iconset.js file. So I'll drop the link in the description. Okay, so I think that is that. Now to get started, we're going to start from the index.js. The index.js, let's just empty the whole thing. empty the whole thing, move out this. Okay, so we have a div, let's say hello world. Okay, we can see that hello world. All right, now okay, now if you check the home page, we can see that this side and this side are equal. So it's like this main size is in the middle, like perfectly placed in the center, but this side is bigger than this and this side is bigger than this, so they are not equal. They are not equal, so that's the difficult part. So let's try to work on that. First, we are going to have something that will place the whole section in the center. So in the div, we have another div. Okay, sorry, let me change this. React element div. Okay, so class name flex. Okay, so justify content center, so that the content inside the component will be in the center. All right, so so let's just have a div and call it, let's say hello. So that should be in the center. No, okay, yeah, the center. Now class name, so let's say background bg red font, red background. Okay, we can see the background. Now let's say what is the width. We are trying to put, just like the way this is in the center, the whole thing is in the center. We are trying to place this whole place in the center. Now what is the width? So let's just call it maybe 75% with let's say 70%. Yeah, 70%. Should be able to see that. Oh, sorry. Okay, say 70%. So let's make sure. Okay, and let's have another component in it. Let's have another element inside. Okay, so that would be like in form of a wrapper. All right, so div, and let's say another div. Okay, so that would be the left side, the middle, and the right side. So we already know we are going to need flex so that they can be beside each other. And now let's specify the width of each side. So this is what I use. I say width is equal to 1/4. I try to distribute the section into 4 different sections. Okay, and this one I call it 1. I use width 1/3. No, let's use 2/4. 2/4, something like that. And the right side, so let's use 1/3 also. So it's like this one was distributed into 3 parts. It's almost like, but it's not up to 4. It's like distributed into 3 parts. So that's the tricky part. Okay, so that is that. So you can see this part cover up to here, this part cover, just like the Twitter page. You see, almost like the same size. Just like the same size. All right. So before we leave that page, let's try to make it responsive. So we are trying to make it that width when it's on desktop mode, so that if it is on mobile mode, it won't be like that. All right. So let's just add LG to the light screen. So and for the flex too, and this will be LG2, but for the mobile screen it will be full. So let's see that. You see it's full for the mobile screen, it's full for the desktop screen, it's normal. And okay, let's continue. Should we remove this background yet? No, don't let us do that yet. Now let's create the component. Now in the root directory, let's create the components that we have. Component, and let's create the component. We have the left side .js. We have the right side .js, and then we have the middle side, center, middle. Let's just call it middle side .js. Okay, so in the left side, you have the left side, the middle side, middle side, and the right side. So we just have a function component there. Okay, so let's try to include them here. Left side automatically included. Okay, and middle side, and nope, right side. Perfect. Okay, so let's start with the left side. Okay, the left side. Okay. Now the first thing we're going to do in the left side is okay, we have the div, we have the icon. The first thing we're going to notice is the icon, the Twitter icon. No, okay. So if you have the icon set file in your directory, we've downloaded it, just copy this. So Twitter logo, very easy. So that's why I did that. Okay, so you can see it there automatically, and just use it like that. Okay, so but before we start, so that's the icon is a link. No, the icon is a link. So let me change this to React. Okay, so the icon is a link. We're going to have the icon inside a link. All right, now there is a space at the top and bottom of the page, so let's have a div. So let's just call it class name py, that is padding or vertically to be 3, padding vertically to be 3, and padding horizontally should be 4. Right, so we can clearly see it. Let's remove that background so we can see it perfectly. Now perfect, that's perfect. Okay, so so we are going to have a list. So that will be normal list, and Lee. All right. Okay. I'm going to have Lee, and that will be Hey. All right. So the Lee is going to be, we're going to have icons in it. So let's use this demo icon, simple icon, maybe home. Let's use this home, and then we have the span. Let's have span here. Now we handle the text, the label. Okay, so let's say you can see that. So we notice that we're going to be repeating it. All right, so let's create a separate component for it. Let's call it menu. Let's call it each sidebar menu .js. Perfect. React. Okay, so rf and just remove this. Okay, so each sidebar menu, is going to be accepting props, right? Since we are going to be repeating it. So let's just extract the props. We have the children of the props, and the name active. So we are going to check if that link is active. So that will be in form of a boolean. So let's set the default props for the active. Default props is equal to active with a false, just to be sure. Okay, so let's just copy that, the whole Lee. So since we are going to be repeating Lee, all right, let's just cut it out and paste it here. Simple. So you have each sidebar menu here. If you repeat it, you can see them here. Boom. Okay, so even though we are going to be supplying the props, but we are not there yet. So let's just arrange this first. Okay, so the props that you supply, let's try to use them. The name, we're going to use the name. We're going to use the children. Okay, the children will be we're going to be some, although they have different names, they are going to have different icons too, right? So the icons will be like the element will be wrapped around that, will be wrapped around each icon. So instead of having the icon here, you can have the children here. Children, and okay, so instead of having a single one like this, so let's make it in form of a closing tag and open tag. Perfect. So we have the home icon. Let's copy the home icon and paste here. So you can see it showing up, and then the name. This is the name. The name props. The name will be home. Right. Perfect. So the name is showing, and as you can see, you can use it for as many as possible. Now let's try to use for like three items. So the name, the explore and notification. So this is active. You know that this is active. True. But the others are not active. All right. So this is explore. This is notification. Let's just do the remaining thing, the remaining options. So these are not necessary. They are not necessary because we already have the default props, so we don't have to supply it to the elements, the component that are not active. All right. So explore, notification, and message, bookmark, list. Just so that is how many items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. Copy this, paste, and paste. Okay, so notification and messages. We have bookmarks. we have list, we have profile, we have more. So let's just add the icons. Let's check what we are doing first. Okay, so let's add the icons. Icons. Our icon set. Okay, so home, hashtag, that's explore. Sorry, just copy it again, paste. Let's remove all this first. I think it's going to. Okay, so for notification, that will be bell. All right, copy notification bell. For messages, envelope. For bookmark, list, user, and more. Okay, so let's arrange that. As you can see, it's already showing. You can see here. So let's try to design it just like this. All right. Okay, so that means we have to head to each sidebar menu. So the first thing is this Lee, is flex. Why? Because okay, I want you to see why. Nice. Flex. This one is flex, not me. You have 2 items inside. You want it to be by each side, so that is flex. And then the text is big, so that will be extra large. Now the font, the color, text color, so that will be text default. That default is from the config that we did. You remember that color is here, the I, default I. All right. Okay, so so when the menu is overed, what should it do? Just like this Twitter one. Can you see? You guys see? So once it's overed, what should it do? Okay, so over should be background for that from the config again. Over, and the padding the vertical padding should be 2, and then it should be rounded full, and but the horizontal padding should be 4, so that there should be enough space, and the item should be centered, so that you can be sure they are on the same line, both the icon and the text. All right. And for the text itself, class name. So for the text, we are going to check if the menu is the active one, like this. This is the active one. The text is bold, so that's just the difference there. So let's do that. We're going to check that. So that part will be dynamic. So, but before that, let's try to use backtick here. Okay, so margin left, put a margin between the icon and the text. It's got 4. As you can see, and the text default is also high. Text default is high, and now this is where we check if it is active. We want to make sure it is bold. It will be bold if it is active. Okay, so let's try to put that in, and if it is active, so we have font bold. If it is not, just empty. Okay, like that, as you can see. So because that is active, it's bold. So that is that about that. Now if you over on it, you can see the background stretch to the end to to the end of the side. We don't want that. As you can see, it doesn't stretch the end. It doesn't stretch the end. So we want it to just cover the link itself. Okay, so that would be, so let's just put flex here. That will fix that. Perfect. Now let's head back to our lead. We need to put some space in between this left side. Okay, so we need to put some space between them. So class name, it should be flex. All right, we are not trying to put them beside. All right, so that's why we're going to say flex go. I want to put a uniform space between each items in the list, so that will be space wide. That is space vertically. Space wide will be 4. Right. Perfect. Okay, so let's put some margin there. Margin top too, so we can have space. As you can see, it's almost the same. It's almost okay, almost. Okay, so let's continue. So, and the bottom, you can see but there is a button here, tweet. So let's do that too. The bottom after the list. So we have button, button. I have button tweet. Yeah, like that. Let's customize it. Last name, we want the text to be white. All right, the color of the text should be white. BG, the background should be the primary color of Twitter. So I've configured that in the Twitter config. And then the horizontal or the vertical padding. Vertical padding should be 4 py, and it should be completely rounded full. Okay, and the width should be full too, so that it can stretch to the whole thing. Stretch. Perfect. Okay, and what should we add again? The list. Okay, so let's try to put some space there. Margin top, let's see, margin top 5, so that there can be space here. And then the font should be bold. Just the font of the text should be bold. Now that is okay, that is perfect. Okay, so let's just ignore this part for now. Let's ignore this part for now. You can add it later. Okay, so let's continue with the left side. So in that left side, there's some space there. There's a space in this side, so we're going to put the space there. Class in, so padding right, let's make it 10. So there's a space in between the first column and the second column, and it is also fixed. Once you scroll, it should be fixed. It should be hidden at default because of the mobile responsiveness. All right, once it's in desktop view, it should show. All right, so like that, hidden at default, show on desktop view. Okay, I think we are done on the left side for now. Okay, what else again? Okay, so let's move to the middle side. This one is way interesting. Now let's start from the beginning. From the home side. Let's compare with this. Let's just compare with this so that we won't be designing something else. Okay, so the first thing, the obvious thing we can see is the home. Let's call it H1. Sorry, change this to React. Okay, So H1, that's the obvious thing, the most obvious thing you can see. Okay, so that will be a div, wrap it inside this, and then we have this SVG. What is that SVG? That is magic. Okay, this okay, middle magic, so change that. Okay, so that will be at default, you know, that is flex, and justify between. Okay, you can see the space between them because of the justify between. Let me undo that. Okay, so the justify between is going to put a space, equal space. Make sure the other one is on the other end and this one is on the first end there. And we have the space, so let's put some space. The horizontal padding, the vertical padding, I mean, sorry, 3. The horizontal padding should 2, and that's for the default, for the mobile responsiveness. But for the desktop version, just do it like this. Let's give it the horizontal padding to be 4. Horizontal padding to be 4 for the desktop. Okay, so that will put enough space in between that. Okay, so that is that. And for the home class name, the home, the font should be bold and it should be big. The text should be big. So, nice. So let's move on to the next section, which is the input feed. The input side, we have the icon, the avatar, the user avatar, and the text. So as you can see, we have this one is here, and this whole section is at the side. Yeah, this is here. The whole section is at the side here. So that we are going to have a side, a div, and we flex them. So that's how that is going to work. Okay, so we have a div. Let's just flex like that. Okay, so we have the avatar side. Avatar. So let's have a div, AV, have the avatar and div. So this div is going to hold, this one is the first side, this is the second side, but we want a side that will hold the text, the input text. So that will be text area. Let's try to customize the text area first. You can see the text area there. Okay, so let's customize it. So the text area is going to, let's just delete all this first, and the class name too. The width is going to be full, so that it can spread, fill the whole place. Once we add flex here, right? But before that, let's just continue. The outline, you notice once you click on it, there's an annoying border here. Let's just remove that. Outline 0. All right. Okay. So the placeholder text. What is the placeholder? Let's add the placeholder. The placeholder is what's happening. So placeholder, and the outline should be okay. Now let's customize the placeholder. The placeholder should be text medium, just like the text default medium, and it should be big, right? Text extra large, just like this, extra large. Okay, so this is still not stretched, so let's fix that. First, let's work on the icon, the avatar. Let's work on the avatar. we're going to create another uh, we're going to create another component. Yeah, okay, let's make sure, because we are going to need to repeat it. So because of the repetition, let's just create a different avatar for it, a different component for it. Let's call it avatars, in case you have many avatars. So let's call it main avatar dot js. So I will see, and let's copy this. Let's just cut it like that. We don't need it. Let's just what? Okay, yeah. So let's import it here. Main avatar. Perfect. Now in our main avatar, the main avatar should just a simple placeholder. So we are not adding any image, just to keep it simple. And let's mention the height. We have height. We have the width, so that it can be equal with 10, as you can see. So flex none. Why are we adding this? Don't let us add it yet. Let us add it here so that you can know what is going on. And the range should be full, and the background, let's just call it BG slate 300, and put some margin there. Boom, space. So remove this, don't need that. Okay, so and let's go back here. Now here, what's happening here is that this middle side, we're going to make sure this page is full, it's spread across the whole thing, it's extended, it's expanded. All right, so let's try to expand it. Class name, width, full, expand. Nice, very nice. Okay, so we have the avatar, we have this. Now you notice this is like this place has been squeezed, it has been squashed. So for us to make sure that flex maintain the constant, as a constant width and height, so you need to add flex none, so that it won't flex. You need to add flex none to it, you see, so it maintains its natural width and height. So it's not flexing, it's not adapting or trying to adjust itself to that flex. So we are done with the main avatar, so let's just close that. Okay, so continue. So the next thing we have is the icons. We have the icons, these icons that we have here. Okay, so we're going to have a div on the, not there, we're going to have a div inside here, because this is a side and this is another side. So anything we are having next is inside this side, so it will be inside this block, not with the avatar side. So that's what we are doing there, and we're going to have a bunch of icons. All right, so they will be inside A, of course. So let's go to our icon sets. Let's move it here so that we can be close to it. Icon sets. The first one is photo, GIF, poll, smiley, calendar. Let's just copy them. So copy. So give the GIF and the poll, the smiley icon, the calendar. I think that's the last one. No, there's this location tag. Okay, location location. Perfect. So let's sort that. Now the first thing we are noticing now is that we want it to be horizontal, arranged horizontally. You know the magic trick, just a flex, boom, horizontal. You want some space. All right, the first thing we want to confirm is that we're going to have some space in it. All right, but before we do that, we should have a div, because we notice after all these icons we have this tweet button. All right, so that means we have a div here, and a div to wrap them up. We have a div to wrap, and a div for the button, or just the button. So let's just wrap this. So inside that div we have a button here. All right, call it tweet, all right. So let's add flex to it. So that's the parent div, add flex to it. So now we notice they are not arranged horizontally perfectly, or they're not symmetrical. So let's try to add things center. Okay, so we see they are arranged now, and then justify between, so that the button can be on the other side, the tweet button can be on the other side. Justify between. Boom. Perfect. Okay, so let's add some space here. We want to add some space between the input and this side. So let's put margin top to, sorry. Okay, so that'll give us some space. Now let's continue with the buttons. Okay, and now for the buttons, I want it in such a way that we can have for the what is it called, for the mobile version and the desktop version. So for the desktop version, let's put some space in it. Space S, it's got to an horizontal space. It's got two there for the FG, for the big space, the desktop size, and then make sure the items are arranged in the center, they are vertically arranged. And okay, we can just make the width full, right, so that it can occupy the main space. Okay, so let's go back to the button. Okay, so now let's try to add the button inside the div, so that you can be sure it's all right. Okay, so now let's customize the button. Automatically the text is white, so text white. The background color is the primary color, so the BG primary, you can see the blue Twitter primary color, and the vertical padding. So let's give it some padding. Vertical padding 1.5 and horizontal padding, so it should be completely rounded, so rounded full, and the font should be bold. The font weight should be bold. Perfect. That is just perfect. So to avoid the flex from to prevent the flex from adjusting the width of this, so let's make sure that it's not being adjusted, so the flex is none. So the width of this won't compromise this, so to maintain its width. Okay, so we are done on that part. All right, so now we have to move to the other side. Sorry, just refresh. Okay, so now let's talk about this area now. We are still coming back here, coming back to that slide, but let's talk about this area, each tweet. So how do we go about that? Okay, so we have a div, right? And the div is going to have a border, right? Border, the border top. Let's just do border top now for now. Okay, you can see the border and the border color. Let's talk about the border color, the color of the border. So the border top color should be the border main as written in the Tailwind configuration file. That's the main color for the border. All right, so after that, we are going to have each tweet. So that will be a div each tweet. So each tweet will be inside this section here. So let's create a different component for it. So inside component folder, we are going to have we're going to have tweet. All right. Okay. So each tweet. Let's have a component. Call it each tweet. Your JS. Convert this to, because of the emmet autocomplete. Okay. So ref each tweet. Now that would be for, we are still in the middle, right? Okay, so that, let's just import the each tweet here. Each tweet. So the each tweet has automatically been imported here. So just in case you are wondering why yours is not working, that's been automatically imported here. All right, so okay, so each tweet can have as many tweets as possible. So that's one of the interesting part of React. So instead of writing many code many times, you can just repeat it once and you can use it many times. So you just have to focus on a single component. So let's do that now. Okay, and now each tweet, where do we start? Let's start with the name. Let's start with the main avatar. Okay, so we're going to have div. That's if we start from left to right, right? Okay, left to right. So the first thing we are seeing is the main avatar, the avatar block. So we have a div. So let's have another div. Now let's import main avatar. Main avatar. Okay, so we have the main avatar there. You can see. Okay, so the avatar is taking the whole section. So it's like we are trying to flex this one will be on this side and flex the whole thing. Okay, so and div, we have div for this, for that section, and another div for this block. We want to put that block there, so let's just continue like that. And we have we have a so that a, we have a span. The first thing we see is the name IOD Ojo, and we have the span. We have another pen here, that is the verified icon. So where can we see that? The icon set again. So let's go and find that. Okay, so this is it, the icon set. Let's just copy that and go back here, finish that. Okay, and next thing we have is the username. So that's another span, right? Span username spill. Okay, so beside that we have the date and dot or something. So span username span. Okay, the dot. Have the dot. That's not the dot we have here. So let's try to copy this. The one we have here. The dot. Okay, right, perfect. So span and the date May 20. Okay, so let's see what we are doing. All right. Okay, so that's that on that area. Now we have another section, the button section. It will soon start coming together now. Just hold on a moment. So this button, what is that? That's dot icon, dot horizontal. So that should do trick. Okay, so that's for the button. So after the button, we're going to have another section, a different outside that, completely outside that block. All right, so okay, so div, you have div. Yeah. So let's have another div. So that div will be holding this, the text. Okay, the post itself. And let's undo those parts first. So it's all messed up. So let's try to undo it before we continue with this the section here. So and so let's try to design thing. The div, before we start to get lost in the whole thing. So start from the beginning. What space are we adding to it? So let's start with the margin, the padding and everything. So the padding should be 2 for the mobile, the space that we have horizontally. So for the desktop should be 4, so we can have more space, right? So border button, we're going to have a border button for each post. As you can see, there should be a border in each button there. And border button, the border color, so that will border main, so that will be color for the border. And the cursor should be pointer. Anytime you scroll over it, just like Twitter, anytime you scroll over it, anywhere in the section is pointer. So let's just add it like that. Cursor pointer. Now once you over it, what should happen? Because you don't have any reaction once you over it. So we have a background configuration that we have in the Tailwind config for the over. So just the color you can see once you over it. Now let's try to design what's inside the whole thing. So let's say we're going to have flex, so that they can be beside. Perfect. So it's like the whole thing is flexed. You don't want that. So that means you have to wrap this div. Okay, so wrap this div like this. Perfect, very perfect. Okay, so the width should be full so that it can stretch to the maximum capacity. It's full, so it can stretch. Okay, so this section is also flexed because we want to flex this side. So let's flex it. Okay, flex. So So this section and this section is flexed. All right. So we want this icon to come here. Yes. So justify between. Go there. Perfect. And so make sure they are equal. They are equally on the same line horizontally. So items center. Perfect. So let's work on the left side. So what's going on there? So that one too is also flex. It's almost like the magic word is flex. You have to flex everything. Okay, so it's still not flexed yet, not fully flexed. Another flex. It's like a magic word. Okay, so item center so that they can be equally placed in the middle. Perfect. This one to items center, just to be sure they are perfectly placed in the middle. Okay, so let's continue. And so let's put some space between them. Have some space. So space for mobile view, the space horizontally should be 1, and for desktop view, space horizontally should be, let's give it 2. Yeah, that will work. Same thing for this, so that there's enough space there. So okay, so once you over this link, once you over it, you should underline it, because at default I think it's not underlined. Okay, it's underlined. It's underlined. So let's just put that. Let's add that effect. So once you over it, you should underline. Perfect. So it's 2 clustered together. So let's give it some space. But before we do that, let's try to customize this so that we can be sure we are done with that part. So the font width, let's start from the font width. That one is, let's give it semi-bold, and then the color, that is color, right? The default color, okay, so I think that's that. And the username, you don't have to do anything about the verified icon, right? So the username, test default medium. Okay, so basically for everything here, right? So let's just copy it. Medium, like that. Perfect. So let's go to the button. You don't really have to do anything with it, just a button. So let's forget about that one. Okay, so let's put in some space here. Margin top, class name, margin top 2 space. Okay, so we want the space at the top too. Want the space at the top and bottom too, so let's give it 5, or let's just give it horizontal to be 5. Look at that. Perfect. So that's all forgetting. Okay, so let's go to the footer section of each tweet, this section. So how do you go about that? We have 4 icons there, so let's go for the 4 icons. So that will be directly under this. So div, they are buttons, all right? So buttons, 4 buttons to be precise. We have 4 buttons, all right? And the first one is icon. icon set, comment, we have comment, we have retweet, and share. Okay, so it's already showing. So, and we can see some labels there. So let's call it span 25.9 thousand. Let's just copy this, paste. Let's call it 32.74. Okay, so let's try to customize them. Let's try to design it and make sure that the first thing we notice is that they are under each other. All right, so let's give it flex. Anyway, give it flex and put some space between them, a uniform space. All right, so margin top for space, top, so that there can be space between the icons and the text we have at the top, and the space horizontally, use uniform space horizontally, so that will be 3. Okay, for that's for mobile view. For desktop view, so let's just do space LG8. That will give it enough space. Now you can see the button is not doing very well. It's putting the whole thing beside at the bottom of each other, so that is not working. That won't work for us. So you know the magic the magic word flex again. Okay, so the space, put some space in it, and for the for the desktop view, put enough space. So space, maybe just let's give it 2. That's not much, but still something. So but you notice that they're not equally on the same line, so let's make sure they do that. So items center, perfect. That is just perfect. So the text, that will be, let's just give it color. The font size is enough. So text, default medium, the default color. So that's just perfect. So let's repeat that for the remaining buttons. Button. Okay, and for the text, okay. So you don't have to do that for this one, but let's just add it there so that it don't cause any problem. Just to be sure, just to be 100% sure that that's what we are supposed to do. See, it's already looking sweet. And okay, see, that's already coming together. Okay, so I think we are done for each button. So let's go back to our medium, the middle side. The first thing you notice is that the border on the side, we don't have any border on the side. There's no border on the side to demarcate the whole thing. So let's put the border here. Middle side, that's me. Border, the main border, the main border, yeah. Border main. That's just perfect. Border main. Now let's work here. No, that's not what we are doing. Okay, so this is all you are doing. So I see there's enough space and we have the border. Now there's no space here. Why is that? So which section is that? That will be, okay, we can see the main avatar. That will be this section. What's going on? Okay, so this section with the main avatar and the text thing. So let's put some space. So some margin at the top, give it enough space at the top, and padding horizontally. Let's give it 2. Padding vertically. Okay, let's do for the desktop version px 4 pb 4. So the padding bottom, padding horizontal, that has been handled. So we are done for this side. Okay, we are not done. There's spacing between the icons, so let's put some space there. So the icons, let's go back to the icons there. Okay, so that will be the class name. Once you hover it, there's a hover effect there, with background and border radius. So once you hover it, what should happen? So over and bg main. So rounded full should be blocked so that it won't flex, and P2, there should be a padding between it. So that's just for this one. Okay, you have to do that for the rest. So let's just copy and paste, and paste. Nice. Okay, I'm trying to compare both of them. Okay, so this one is saying notification, this one is saying notification. Okay, so let's go back to the website. It should be notifications. Perfect. So so what do you have next? The right side. This is already 1 hour, but if you are still watching, thank you very much. So let's continue. The right side, we have the search, and so I'm just going to rush the right side, and so I won't waste your time. The right side. Okay, so what we have on the right side is the search. Okay, that's the main first thing we notice. So that one is input inside a div. All right, so the element is not working, so react div input. Okay, placeholder search Twitter. Search Twitter. So that's for the search block, the search area, and we have the other area, the trend area. So we have the H1. That one says trends for you. So let's just go ahead and start coding trends for you. Okay, so let's add some styles to that. So the font is extra bold, and the text is extra large. What? No. Extra large, and the text color is just the default color, and margin horizontal. The horizontal margin is 5. Let's see, horizontal margin is 5. So Okay, let's work on the background color. Last name, the BG, that BG main, the main color we have, our main color, and rounded should be 2XL. No. Rounded 2XL for padding top. The padding top should be 4, and the margin, the vertical margin should be 4. Okay, so let's talk about horizontal margin, so you can see the background color and everything there. So let's talk about this size. So you have div, okay, and that div also have another div. So we have science. I want to copy that. Science, sci-fi, and fantasy TV, trend. So I want to use it as a different did that work? Okay, there was something. What? Yeah. Okay, so we can see it here. Okay, so that will make each one. We are going to create a component for that, but before we do that, let's try to put some margin there. Margin, no, last name, margin top 5. Okay, so let's create a component for this. So we call it inside the menu, or let's call it each trend .js. I don't know why I have to do this manually. Okay, so I don't know. And each trend, okay, okay, so since we have the each trend part, so let's just copy this for the each trend. We're almost done. So each trend, for each trend, so let's import each trend here. So we should be able to see that here. So if we try to duplicate them, duplicate, you can see I have as many as possible. So I think that's enough. So let's try to customize each trend. So for each trend, so we start from the here. They are links, all right. So let's wrap it inside a link. Wrap the whole component inside a link. Okay, so now you can see that now the link, once you over the link, what should happen? So let's do that. Over, you should have a background just like the Twitter one. So time is really going, so I'll be rushing. I'll just be coding now. Over and block and last name px, padding x, padding horizontal, padding vertical to flex to be beside each other. No, we are missing something. missing something here. So let's drag this into a div. That is not what we are trying to flex. So we are trying to have another button here. What's going on? Button. So what button is that? The 3 dots. Let's go to the icon thing. 3 dots. Okay, yes. And fish trend. Just put it there. But that will flex it to the other side. So okay, so and justify between. Okay, so that is that. Let's customize, let's design, add some style to this too. So the text is small, the text color, the default medium. Same for this, but this one will be high so that I can lay some emphasis on that, and the font is bold. That is just perfect. So I think we are done here. So we need some space and try to add some style to the search side. So let's go back to that right side. So let's work on the search side. So the search, we are going to put that in, let's just put it here, search block dot JS again, and just going to remove that. So we are going to move that here to the search block and import the search block here. Okay, so let's add some design, let's add some style to the search block so that it can look like the normal one. So the interesting part about the search is that once you click it, the style changes. Can you see? But before we get to that, let's try to add some style to this first thing. So the width is full. What about the placeholder? The placeholder color, the placeholder background. The placeholder background, yeah, should be the main color. Also, the background should be main color so that we can be uniform, and the outline should be none. Outline none. Okay, so that is that, and we have one icon here, the search icon. So let's go to our icon set, search. Okay, so that is that, the search block. Okay, so put that there. What? Focus is not okay, there's a focus function, the code focus function here. So let's try to add that. That's for the focus, or we can remove it, or let's just leave it. So we are going to use React hook for the focus action. Once you click it, once you leave, and so that will be, once you leave is on blur, once you focus is on focus. So we have that function, and we handle it accordingly. All right, so import React. So we are going to use state for the React hook. React. Okay, so if you want some tutorial on React hook, please mention in the comment. I will try to work on it. Okay, so focus set focus. So we have the object and the function and the state. So the default state, let's say this default state, the default state is false. So that is at default it is not focused. So we have on focus function const on focus. What happens once the input field is focused? So it should call the set focus function and set the function to true if it is on blur. On blur, that means once the focus has been removed, so the function should be what's it called? The function should be what? Should be false. Sorry. The function should be false. Okay, so on focus, so now let's go to the function to the input field now. Now on focus, you call that on focus, and on blur, you should call that on blur. Perfect. Let's check our code. Focused is not referenced. Focused. Fresh. You see the color is changing here once you focus it. So let's add some style so that it can look just perfect. So since we are going to add the dynamic value here, so let's do this and flex. So it's going to flex so that it can be beside each other. So space, we are going to add an horizontal spacing to it. So horizontal spacing 3 items, center, make sure they are horizontally equal, and py 2, px 4. Now we add the main background bg main. So rounded full, and now the margin, I want to add the margin to it, so margin 3. Perfect. Now let's add the on focus action to it. So on focus, so if it is focused, so we add the border, to it, and then the border color, border primary high. So that is that. So if it is not focused, what about if it is not focused? That will be empty, just empty field. Let's test that. Can you see? Okay, so what we need now is should put some margin in, right? So let's go. We are going to go. You can find that in our right side, the right side, and let's add some margin. So class name. So let's try to consider the mobile view again. So LG for the desktop view, margin left 10, and margin bottom 10. Just can you see it has been optimized for the mobile view. Okay, so what we need now is the final part is this side, this place. So it's not really a big deal, really. Just list something, list of links. So let's copy this and paste that. So let's use a link. Let's use the right inside a div, and there are of course links. Okay. So paste. So last one, paste. So the final one is just span. Why did I write the enter first? So that. Now let's, okay, where is it? Okay, so that's just messed up now. Okay, so let's add some style. So the text should be small. Then the color text default medium should be medium, and it should flex. Let's add some flex to it. Flex wrap, and space X. That we had an equal space in between the items, so an equal space, and padding should be 3. Okay, so once you over it, if you go to Twitter, you can see it's underlined. So let's put some underline effect to it too. Class name over should be underlined. So paste, and paste underlined. Okay, so let's try to compare with the one I did. Is it the same? Search Twitter, so you can spot the differences there. Okay, let's compare the Twitter. Is it even close? Maybe. Maybe. So we're just trying to see how Twitter is going to, how Tailwind is going to fare if you try to use it to build a Twitter feed. So it's just that we don't have enough time to measure the screen constraint and everything, but maybe another time. So I think that will be all for now. If you have any question, drop in the comment section. So see you another time.